Welcome to my little space where heart and hook stitch up a place where we can together make a refuge safe for all our sake. Hello, welcome to the new video. It is Tuesday. I've just uploaded last week's video and I'm set up here in my dining room because I have the entire house to myself for, I would say a couple weeks, but a couple weeks with my kids coming and going. So right now the house is empty, so I thought I would just come out here with all my stuff. So I've got myself a lunch I thought I'd share. It is, well, I can't really share with you, but I just layered, I did like a makeshift version of my keto lasagna that I make, inspired by Maria Emmerich's protein noodle lasagna. So I just had some meaty marinara sauce that I layered up with some mozzarella cheese and Parmesan and sliced turkey meat. And then I just threw it together, a little serving of it in the toaster oven. And I'm probably not going to eat all of this at once, but when I'm done eating, I have before me a little pile here of some scraps that don't go well into yarn scrap yarn when I do my spindle spinning. And I will supplement those with my other regular scraps that do work well for spindle spinning, but the spindle spinning takes so long to go through them. I will utilize a good amount of this for filling more ornaments. As you can see, I only have 2 left that have stuff in them. So I need to fill up more ornaments because I will be shipping more orders tomorrow. I was thinking of going today, but I was only going to have 1 thing to ship, but tomorrow I will have 5 more things to ship. And then I also just sold a Bernie doll that I have. So that will be 7 things I'll be able to ship tomorrow at least. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to batch make some flying spaghetti monsters, 4 ornaments and 1 tree topper. So this is all for different people. I made all these meatballs. I was going to hold them up for you, but I can see that they are on screen for you to see anyway. I made all these meatballs last night while I was providing moral support for my daughter who was studying for her finals in my room last night until midnight. And then after that, she went to bed and I started doing my final video editing for last week's video. So once again, I was up till past 2. So I only got like 3.5, 4 hours of sleep. And that's like the 3rd night in a row with like that much sleep. So at some point, but you know what? Yesterday I took a short nap in the middle of the day. I'm sure I will at some point today when I feel like it. As it stands right now, I feel fine. But so for the flying spaghetti monster tree topper, I do have 1 set of eyes previously made and 1 set of noodles previously made. So that's all the noodles I need for 1 monster. So I just need to make like the head part and the eye stalks for the ornaments and do all the assembling. So there we have it. And the other thing I have on the table is my stuffing, which I got more stuffing out of the catacorn. There's still stuffing in the head now. That's all that's left. So yeah. Do you want to see what this looks like? It basically looks like lasagna. Okay. I'll do some time lapse and show you what I'm doing. So if you're new here, my YouTube channel here is part of my efforts in making my crochet full-time business more self-sustaining. So please subscribe. It's the small thing you can do that would really help. Like my videos, share them, and go find my Patreon if you want to be my first paying patron. I realized I forgot I was going to show you my sparkly purple colander hat in the last video clips as a finished item fresh off the hook. This is something I have definitely made a few times before. I'm not going to bother photographing it again, but I wanted to show it for the video. It's one of my more popular colors in this design. So I do sell the hats and the pattern for this, and you can move the noodles around as you like or wear it without the noodles. It comes with 5 noodles. And then also, I just wanted to show off, look at this really crazy scarf. I made this so long ago, back when I first started my shop, so long ago that I hadn't been calling it Lean Green Bean on Etsy yet. And look what I was doing at the time. I was cross-stitching tags that just say green bean. I went to Lean Green Bean, L-E-E-N, like my name, Aileen. I went to that at the beginning of it when I started my Etsy shop, and Green Bean was already taken. So that's the history behind that. And look at this. I've never worn this. It still has an old tag because I tried to sell in person one time, so I went ahead and plopped a tag on it. But for so long, this has not had a listing in my shop because it didn't sell in the first few years of my Etsy store. And then ever since, I've just had it in my stash of scarves. And just recently I went through and pulled out all of my scarves so that I can regularly pair them up with different outfits. And then after I wear it, I put it into the next outfit that it would kind of go with. So I guess I'm going to start wearing it now, and that means I should take this off. But isn't that crazy? I remember doing this and going, well, if I get popular, this is going to be very time consuming to make tons and tons of tags like this. And look how cool I was. I stitched the word green in purple and the word bean in green. I didn't do the obvious to go with green for green. So now I'm actually getting kind of warm. I'll take off the scarf while I package up my stuff, but it is time to package up stuff. I only shipped 2 days ago, but I need to ship again. It's Wednesday. So I have this hat, the Flying Spaghetti Monsters, and a Bernie to ship now. So I'll show you my little collection of things. It's very noodle heavy, this one. Well, I just got back from the post office. I got home and I'm very aware how emotionally charged I feel right now. An older lady at the counter started going in and out of consciousness. I was in the line, like maybe, I don't know, 5 people down the line. And the reason I discovered what was happening was the clerk just started saying, "Emergency, emergency." And I looked up, and before I realized what was happening, one of the guys in the line went straight up to the woman and kind of started holding her around her shoulders. And as he was on kind of her right side, I kind of felt like another person should be here on her left side. So I just dropped my bag of packages in the line and went straight up to her, and I kind of held her like under her arm and around her shoulder on the other side. So we were both just bracing her in case she were to want to fall. And the clerk was just holding onto her hands because there's like a distance there over the desk where she, all she could do in the moment when she saw her starting to go out of consciousness is to just grab her hands. And pretty quickly, some other people from the back were, post office workers came out, and one of them dialed 911, and the woman was coming back into consciousness, and somebody else wheeled out a chair. We were trying to convince her to sit down. By the time somebody else wheeled out a chair, I felt, okay, I'm just an extra body here. I need to move out of the way. This is handled. There are enough people here handling it. So I went back into the line. But she refused to sit down, and she kept like going out of consciousness again and slumping over onto the counter. Meanwhile, people are holding on to her to make sure she doesn't fall over. And then she would come to consciousness again, and she would realize, oh, they're dialing 911. And she would say, no, don't call 911. And it just made me think about how, at first I was thinking this is like a woman thing, that, something could be emergency status for us, but we still want to make sure everyone around us doesn't worry. We don't want to cause a scene. But then I was like, you know what? It really is sort of a people thing. Everybody does this, I think, to some degree. When she's conscious, she feels fine, and she doesn't want people to bother about what's going on. She doesn't want to create a scene. She doesn't want to burden anybody with worry for her. I think we are such a fiercely independent society where we don't want to be a burden on anybody. And I think that is sort of like across the board. A lot of people feel that way, regardless of gender. Hi, friend. There's friend. And they never ended up getting her to sit down. She ended up regaining enough consciousness that she was able to finish her transaction. I guess they canceled the emergency services that would have been sent out or could have been sent out because she said she didn't want them to. But the young man who was beginning to help her before I came up, he said he would help her out to the car, to her car. But the clerk and he himself, they were both telling her that she should not be driving, and in their opinion, she shouldn't start driving. She said that she had just given blood, and I can attest, because I had been a regular blood donor for a long time, that sometimes after giving blood, in the next day I might get faint, but I've never fainted after giving blood. I'll just start to get dizzy, and then I'll recognize that I'm feeling faint or getting dizzy, and I'll sit down on the floor right away, or if there's a chair nearby. But usually there's not like a convenient chair nearby. I'll just drop down to the floor and sit very quickly until it passes. But considering that she was an elderly lady, it was quite concerning in the fact that she kept going in and out of consciousness and then trying to say that nothing was wrong. Anyway, when I finished, she ended up leaving with the young man who was helping her. And they told him, when you come back, just come to the front of the line. You don't have to wait through the line. And so then the clerk who had been helping that lady helped me, and like I was feeling emotional. I was like, I feel like you should take a break, even though there's a big long line right now. Friend is causing trouble. You need to get down. There you go. And so when I finished my transaction, I went out and I was just wanting to see if I assumed that they were still out there, that she hadn't left because he hadn't come back inside yet. I didn't see them going straight to I went straight to my car. I didn't go like inspecting all the cars, but on my way driving out, because there were a lot of cars and it was like, I just went to the right to where I parked. She was apparently off to the left because when I drove out, I saw that man and another woman who was either somebody that worked there or another customer standing by the driver's side open door talking with her. So I'm assuming that was her car. It had to have been. And they had been talking inside about somebody that she could call. So I think they were taking it upon themselves to just hang out with her door open, her driver's side door open, and make sure that she didn't drive off. Yeah, and it just made me emotional. It made me also grateful for the fact that, like, as crappy as things are with politics and our society, people can be so mean-spirited. When it comes down to it, like, if there's an emergency in the post office, it doesn't matter what anybody's political affiliation is. Everybody just kind of wants to make sure that somebody isn't going to just fall over and hurt themselves. So I'm still feeling kind of emotional. I think I was already kind of emotionally fragile because of a movie I watched last night. I had never heard of this movie before, and it came out in 2020, which was a very pivotal year for me. And in terms of the subject matter of the movie, I may not have been very okay to watch it back in 2020, but I want to say it's the best movie I've ever seen. I think it's, like, right now it's just jumped to the very top in my mind of my, like, favorite movie maybe ever. I think it's kind of a perfect movie. And so it was nominated. I think I read it was nominated for like 5 Academy Awards. It did win for Best Screenplay. And the movie is called Promising Young Woman. And if you haven't seen it, please go see it. I think it should be required viewing for everybody. So I will say, and I will censor myself just for the sake of the algorithm, but the theme is rape culture, but it's a revenge story. So I don't want to give anything away. I think it's probably best to go into it pretty blind, but I'll just say the little blurb that you would read about it, probably the little blurb that I read before watching the movie. Basically, the premise is that there's a woman who, like, 30-year-old woman who goes to bars and pretends to be very, very drunk to the point where she can't really walk, almost. And she waits for a, quote, nice guy to help get her home. And then inevitably, at least, well, I don't want to give too much away. It's a revenge. She's pretending she's trapping guys who otherwise seem like nice guys. They see themselves as nice guys, and gets them to fall into her trap of thinking that they can take advantage of a woman when she is not in her right mind. And the switch that we see them go through when she switches off her fake drunkenness is it's very eye-opening. And And the movie isn't, I think, what a lot of people might expect. I would say it's surprising. It is very poignant, and it makes really strong metaphor. So without saying much else, I would just say it's rated R, but there's no explicit, like, it's not gory, and it's not like sexually explicit. I think it's rated R more for language and the themes, and I want to show it to my kids. I kind of feel like they could watch it at this point already. They're both very young teenagers. But maybe it's not quite the right time yet. I'm not sure. Maybe in a few more years. But yeah, I think it should be required viewing for everybody. So, oh my gosh, I sound like I'm lecturing. And if you haven't heard about this movie, it probably sounds like it's lecture-y. But amazingly, there's so much to learn from the way this story is told. But I don't feel like it's lecturing people. I just found it so fascinating. So highly, highly recommend that movie. But it also left me feeling, it just left me kind of triggered. So trigger warning going into it for anybody who has experienced assault. So that was heavy. Sorry. I also have in my hands 2 legs that I just made last night for my next Nana. So on a lighthearted note, this is what I'm working on. I started this last night. Today is Wednesday, the day that it is due, but I made the decision to put some orders ahead of my next Nana project. Even though those orders don't have to arrive by Christmas, I wanted to give them a chance to. And I may be releasing this Nana late, maybe tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. I'm going to work on it now, though, and see how far I get, but I'm not going to stress over releasing every Nana on Wednesday. There have been a couple that I've ended up releasing on a Thursday, and that's fine by me. So, sorry, that was kind of a lot. And I think that's enough for now. All right, as you saw, fresh off the hook, this is Nana number 58 in my series of Nanas Against Trump and Fascism, and this one I've named after my friend from way back, Julie Jordan Scott. She is somebody that I got to know in Bakersfield in the theater scene, and she's just one of those people that upon first meeting them, they feel like family. She just has this sort of mothering, loving, protective, poetic also vibe about her. And she made me feel very welcome being a newbie to the theaters in Bakersfield when I first moved there. And I always think of her very fondly. I remember that purple is her favorite color, and we do have purple in a few spots here and in the breasts. So this was, I was going to say will be, but it already is. I already made a listing in my shop for it. And if anybody wants to buy it, I'm donating the proceeds to the ACLU. after I pay off the Etsy fee and pay for shipping. Then I went ahead and made these two little guys real quick. I do sell my pattern for these in my shop as well as the completed items. And I mean, we are basically down to the wire in terms of, well, really, we're done with trying to get things to people in time for Christmas. I am going to make one trip to the post office tomorrow being Friday, the Friday before Christmas. So unless, I haven't checked, unless any of these things are going somewhere within California, they probably won't get there before Christmas. Oh, the kitty just hopped up right behind me. Hi, friend. Hi. Hi, friend. Hello. Hello. Hi. She's very talkative, this kitty. Okay, enough of that. So I don't have any more things that people are expecting by Christmas, including these, but I may as well ship them. I have them ready, and I never did get around to shipping every day this week, but every other day. So I shipped on Monday and Wednesday, and I'm going to ship tomorrow on Friday. So I will ship these two, and I also still have open 2 Flying Spaghetti Monster ornaments. So I can make those tonight and ship those tomorrow too, right? So that's what I have this out for. It's only like 10 o'clock at night. I think I can make 2 more ornaments. And then I thought I would show you what I'm going to do. This is just a random scrap yarn that I got secondhand, and it's a random brown, and this is all that I have left. So what I'm going to do is, this is a little trick I do, is I'm going to weigh it, and I'm going to crochet with it a meatball. And then I'll be able to tell whether there's enough yarn to make however many more meatballs I can make. So I'm gonna make a meatball, and then I'll weigh this again, and I'll see how many more meatballs I can get out of this. I'm thinking I can probably get 1 more ornament out of this, like 2 meatballs. But that way I don't run out before I don't make 2 whole meatballs except for like the last few rows and run out of yarn. Like, that sucks. So I will see how many more meatballs I can get out of this for ornaments. And I'm going to pair this up with this yarn. And then this is a different yarn from this. These are so close in color that when I run out of this, pairing with this, I will start pairing this with this darker chocolate brown. And when I run out of this, which it'll be a while before I run out of this because I have more of this, I'll also use this paired with the chocolate brown. So I actually don't need to have this out right now because I won't get to that for sure tonight. I just like to have 2 different shades of brown along with the red thread running through there for the meatballs. And then this is for my noodles. I have both of my crochet hooks that I need for these because I use 2 different crochet hooks for these. I use a bigger hook for the meatballs because I'm using multiple yarns crocheting with at once. Okay, so that's it. I better get to making my ornaments. As it turned out, I was able to make 2 entire ornaments from the rest of that brown I was showing you. So I made a 3rd one with the other brown. Well, I needed to stuff more ornaments with my yarn scraps, so that's what I'm showing here. My bag of yarn scraps and all these empty ornaments. I stuffed a whole bunch more. Here are the 6 that go with the 6 packages I'm sending out. Included in my shipments today are these 2 pairs of gloves that I made from some of the earliest yarn scrap yarn that I made, and this is only cheating slightly because I sent these out as a gift. But I did want to mention I updated my listings for these to make them made to order listings, so you can select how you want me to make the yarn, whether it's completely mixed up like this or more color shifting like the yarn I've been making more recently. Is it? Could it be? Could it finally be time to untangle the mess that I made? Maybe I'll make some more meatballs first. So I wasn't kidding when I said I was going to make some meatballs first, because I also got an order for a flying spaghetti monster tree topper, a regular one, and also a rainbow one. So these are people who obviously don't care about getting them in time for Christmas, because they've ordered them just a few days before Christmas, less than a week before. But I got going on those anyway. I felt like sitting and crocheting for a little bit before jumping into this. But I am going to do this. And then just to fill you in on the other thing that's upcoming, I got this really cool request for this pattern it's like a hood, but it also is like a beret. It's like a big baggy beret attached to like the front panel of a hood with these long like braided tassels and like adorned with some cool decorations. So I'm gonna crochet the base of the garment first, or accessory, I should say. And then I will dive into some things to accessorize it with, some fancy yarns, specialty ribbony yarn, fuzzy yarn, stuff like that. Maybe some fabric strips, and then also potentially some beads and charms and stuff like that. So this is the yarn I'm going to use for that. Isn't that gorgeous? I think the light in here isn't that great, but it's, I actually have 4 skeins of it. And it has a clearance sticker on it. I got this for $3 each several years ago. I remember getting this several years ago, 2 houses ago. But it's like blues and teals and like little bits of like a copper and purple. So there's that. Or kind of a red that blends sometimes with the blue to make a purple. So like not intentional purple, but accidental purple. So that's what I'll be using. It's a super bulky weight yarn. And when I get around to making that, I'll tell you who wrote the pattern, because I don't remember who it is off the top of my head, but I will also link to the pattern in the description box. And this is really cool. This pattern, my customer sent me a picture of the item. To me, it really looked like it was knit from the picture. And then I thought, well, I could crochet my own version of it. But first I tried to Google around and find the pattern for this, and I couldn't find it because it was just a picture that she had grabbed somewhere off the internet and showed it to me. But then yesterday I was watching Of Herbs and Altars, and Dorian was giving a list of items that he recommends, patterns that he recommends as ideas for crocheting this season. And lo and behold, this little hood thing was there. And so I found the link, and it actually is a crochet pattern. So I bought it. It's a $16 pattern, which is more than most patterns that I would purchase. Probably more than what most patterns cost. I'm not really sure. All the patterns I buy are typically way lower than that, but it's worth it. If I mean, I haven't made it yet, but to me, it's still a minute cost when it comes to something like this. It's still the biggest, expenditure that I have is the time that I make it. And it's going to be so much faster and easier to follow somebody else's pattern than to try to recreate something myself. And this way I also get to promote the original designer, because now I know who it is. So I'll be doing that. And maybe I'll make a new Instagram friend or something. So I think it's time to do some time-lapse untangling. Well, that virtually looks the same, but I have freed these 6 balls of yarn. Now, granted, this one, this one, this one, and this one were mostly intact. Actually, there was a lot of this gray one in there, and there was a lot of this one and a lot of this one, and that's just how you do it. You go little by little, one step at a time. I think I'll do this one next. It's actually kind of fun. Okay, so it is now Sunday, and as you can see, I've been kind of going back and forth, working on my yarn mess a little bit, and then going and working on some other stuff, and then coming back. And I have now gotten it down to just this much. This was a mess all of its own because it was in a separate bag with this one. And I thought, oh, I'll do, after I separated this out from this, which most of this was mixed in with this, then I went to this one, but this was all by itself, just a big tangle. And I thought, oh, that'll be a simpler project, but it wasn't really, because I think the rest of these are slightly smaller skeins than this, and it's easy enough to kind of see where the different colors go, because it's, you know, if I'm separating out just the bright green, it's really easy to see that the yarn goes to this area now, then this area. This was just a big homogeneous mess of orange. But I kind of have my system now for how I do it. I have a couple of strategies, and it just takes a little time, but it's not hard. But I'm not wanting to sit here and do the entire thing. So I've rescued these yarns. I'm very glad I did. I don't want to throw any yarn away. And then back and forth, I went and put these together. They are not finished yet, but one regular Flying Spaghetti Monster tree topper and one rainbow one. And so they just need their final noodle placement. And I think I will do that once I'm done with the yarn tangle, because I like to spread that out at the table here, and I'd rather not move over and take up the other half of the table doing that. I also just sold a Bernie, so I grabbed this out of my drawer. This is the last one that I had already made in the brown. I have one more already made in the green, and then if I keep selling them, which I assume I will make more. I can batch make more. So there he is, ready to go. And I also started this hood, I think is what I'm going to call it. It's like a hat / hood, and it is so cool. This stitching, to me, around the brim here, it looks knitted. Doesn't it look knitted? But I've never done this before. The pattern instructs to crochet into a different loop than you normally do with single crochet. And especially, I've also never done it to make ribbing, but the way that this happens to the way that this makes the ribbing, it's very, like, what do you call that? Like low profile. Like the ribbing doesn't pop up super high. And to me, it looks more like knitted ribbing. This up around here is more like what I'm used to, one way that I'm used to doing ribbing, which is front post double crochet and back post double crochets, which, as you can see, is very bulky and thick. compared to this, which is much more sleek. So it uses two different kinds of ribbing in this pattern, and I think this is going to turn out really pretty in this yarn. Once again, here's a new skein of it. I still think the lighting in here isn't very good for showing that. But, so I'm going to set this down for a little bit now, and I'll do some more of this. I think I'm just going to do this until I'm done. I've got some green, some pink and white, some purple and white, and some blue. Actually the blue, I think there's blue and purple and white and green all together. And then there's just like a plain green. So I think this, oh, and then there's like just a plain yellow as well. So I think this is actually 4 different yarns. Let's see if I'm right. I've finished the body of the bonnet, but I still need to do all the accessorizing, and I'll be doing that in next week's video. It's going to be Christmas soon, and since I don't have to have any of these in the mail until January, I'm actually going to wait until after Christmas to ship them, even though they are ready, because it's just a little bit crazy right now. And with that, I will close this chapter. If you've already subscribed, please ring the little bell so that you'll be notified the next video that comes out, and you'll be able to see me finish the bonnet and get all these items shipped off, and you'll be able to see the next Nana that I'm beginning already. Crochet hooks and colors bright, crafting wonders day and night. Join the fun, come see it through. Subscribe and I'll create for you. Near the end of stitching this second flying spaghetti monster together, I took way longer than I should have, because it took me forever to find the last hiding pin. And this is exactly why I start with 35 pins exactly on the table in little piles of 5, so that when I get the pins out, I can count and see exactly that I've gotten them all out.